put together the issue of welfare with immigration, or with refugee resettlement. And I mean, yes, when the refugees come, they come with nothing on their back. So yes, it is conscionable to come or to help them, get set up. And studies show that yes, refugees, when they first initially come into the country, they do come in at a lower poverty level, but over time they end up being able to increase their productivity and their income, their household income distribution. In some cases, almost doubles.
Not in Europe.
I mean, I cannot speak for Europe.
I
am
can,
not
and I can
European.
tell you it's not
okay,
that.
but right now I'm talking to you. So I can't speak for Europe, but the statistics that I have, are from the U.S. and it shows that also children of refugee families usually attain a higher level of education that is equal, or sometimes even a little bit higher, than natural-born citizens. And so, to say that they're a drain on the economy is it's misleading. It's just not true.
Frontliners respond.
Okay, first of all, to come to a debate about the West taking refugees and then saying I can't talk for Europe is, a little bit. Only got American statistics in front of them, even though you know the West includes Europe. Second of all, there's many ways to come to this, involving just in terms of jobs, like what the guys hit on over there. I've already said a good way of refugees getting autonomous, which is what they want. Refugees are being housed and fed, and it's causing a problem for they're having trouble being able to feed and clothe all these people, but that's not actually what they want. What they want is autonomy, to be able to work and then go home. And essentially, you hear all these statistics like, the average stay in a refugee camp is really, really long, like 17 years. That's ultimately not achieving anything. That's just keeping people in the camp who want to go home. So again, I asked the question to the guys who are proposing this to you. What do you plan to do about all these new people? How are you going to make them autonomous? And how are you going to get them home as opposed to staying in your country for 17 years?
Same question I have for you. Magical answers.
Yeah, great. So the same solvency challenge that they're posing to us, we can't solve the problem. They also really haven't explained anything about how it's feasible at all for a country like Jordan to accept immigrants. Now, let me actually move on to some proportionality issues here. So the proportionality issues are accommodating 65,000 refugees is akin to making room for 6.5 more people in a baseball stadium of 32,000. The U.S. Western countries can fit in 6.5 more people in our giant-ass baseball stadium, okay? So the West is uniquely in a unique position to accept more immigrants, and that is not anything, they have not provided any solvency or anything comparative to that. Now, let me move on to speaking for...
Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and all the other neighboring countries.
Exactly.
You don't! You're just pushing always on US and Western Europe.
Sorry, well, before you interrupted me, I was actually about to move on to a
stop
study
talking.
about... I stopped talking because you started talking. That's generally how things work with respectful people. Anyway, so what I was about to say is I have an Economist article here right now that actually says Germans need not fret. That in the short term, so even though the long-term benefits of immigrants are actually yield a net benefit, that in the short term, there's less than a 1% net loss of any compensation of any native German. So I challenge you to respond to that.
I mean, there's a study who says the opposite.
Yeah. Great, can you cite it? Because I did my homework. You look like someone who didn't.
It doesn't mean that the study exists. It doesn't mean that the study doesn't exist. I mean, just because I cannot quote this study doesn't mean the study doesn't exist. I can also quote the Bible.
Who do you guys believe? Someone who has an Economist article or someone who's just promising you he's true? His opinions came from hisownopinion.tumblr.com. So.
Can we agree that we economic argument is actually not an argument, because we are talking now, I think something like half an hour about economy, but everyone agrees it doesn't matter, right? So let's talk about the real issue. Let's talk about culture. Let's talk about how these people are actually integrated in this society and how some of these people behave as refugees.
Sure.
Okay, piggyback on that.
Okay, and piggyback on what he's going to say and what he was saying about culture, and actually to mention just how you've been treated. This ends up being, and we haven't actually, we've tried not to mention terrorism and integration too much because it's a minefield, because you end up offending people who want to be offended. And I think often people are sort of shouted down when they want to talk about the risks of terrorism and things like that, and that ends up creating things like Marie Le Pen, because people essentially go, well, you're not listening to me anymore, you're just saying I'm racist, or you're saying these people are Muslims are terrorists. So now, I'm going to vote for Marie Le Pen. Okay, that might not be a good thing for everyone, but that's what happens when you shun people, insult them, and you don't let them talk. And I think that that's what happens certainly in parts of Brexit, and certainly with a bit of Trump, is that people don't want to engage in arguments about this. If someone says, I'm worried about the amount of migrants coming in, I want to have a conversation about what they teach in the Quran, or I want to talk about the risk of terrorism, the other team, like they said at the very beginning, they say, shut up. You know, the chance of you getting attacked by a terrorist is 0.00001, so you shouldn't complain. It's like, I want to have a conversation with you, and you're not allowing me to.
So, can we start to respond to that? You take the audience.
Yeah, sure. Well, let's point out that the largest amount of interruptions in tonight's debate has actually come from their side. So then, aside from that issue, I would also say, are we supposed to be talking about social or cultural, or do you want me to just listen?
I think we're supposed to be talking about what's best with the
what he just
refugees.
said.
Yeah, I want to speak about it. Actually,
You're not talking about it.
nobody's talking about it, but I want to.
Go ahead.
I don't know how many of you here have known refugees. I suspect it's very, very few. But I actually grew up in a town, and a refugee family came, and I got to know them quite well, and I worked with their sponsor, and they were from El Salvador, and their family members were being killed by the local police. So it was a life or death situation, and they came.
So can we establish before we move on that refugees exist?
Wait.
Okay.
Now, I got to know them very well. I must say, from my personal experience and other things I've read, getting up and moving your whole family to a foreign culture, you don't speak the language, you don't have an education there, you don't understand the religions or the customs, is an extremely stressful experience. A lot of you came to China. You came here for jobs, you came here with education, you came here with money, and still China was Shanghai. The most developed place in China was a very stressful place for you at times. Well, those people, when they come to our countries, it's a very stressful existence. The whole world is alien to them. I don't think that's actually the best for them. Now, the Jordan solution I quite like, because that culture in Jordan is quite a bit similar to what they're used to, and they can easily integrate. Also, the standards of what you need to know to be a car mechanic or a bricklayer are basically uniform. You can go do the jobs you've been doing your whole life. You can't show up in Europe and have been a car mechanic in Syria and suddenly fix cars in Germany. You need a certification. You can't work. It's not really the best for them.
It's being applied to.
We can send money to Jordan to help them pay for it. That would be
I would
better.
argue that relocate refugees to the West is more, not just for Westerners, also for refugees.
Okay, so the point here is that it's worse for refugees.
It's not an easy transition.
Okay.
Transition is tricky.
According to research, if you relocate one refugee to the West, same cost, can save 7 refugees if you can settle them around Middle East. So, what's your goal? Your goal to help refugee or help them enjoy rich Western life. So what's the goal?
Okay, final point on this. Does someone believe that this is the best solution for refugees to come to the West? Is it the best solution, or is it possibly the least worst? Who would choose this as their number one solution? Number one solution?
It doesn't matter, because that's not what we're talking about. We're not saying what's the best, what's the wonderful, perfect world. We're saying, should the West take more? Should they take one more? Should they take a line? Like, that's
what I
the
said. Is
discussion.
that it was their job to argue whether they meant the rate of refugees should increase or the rate, and we're essentially saying the rate should stay the same. It's their job to argue that the rate should increase.
Right.
They haven't proposed that.
We're not saying the best. We're just saying more.
No, exactly.
No, that was Liam's question.
The question is,
The guy in the way back.
6.5 to
The guy in the way
30,000
back
right
over here
in
has
that
had hand up for a while.
Go on then, sir. Give us a bit.
It is the best solution simply because despite all the fun talking about this refugees still turn up in the West, despite the fact that they cannot be racially integrated into society, despite the fact that they're not going to be accepted by the German world, they still want to go there. The reason why? Because the alternative is not good enough. And therefore, going back to your argument of autonomy, if the autonomy, the choice to choose the refugees, despite all these problems, despite the Westerners hating them, still want to go there, why should we not? I think we're allowed to go back to your principle of autonomy.
it's okay. So the point is that I'm talking about the Jordan model has actually only been in place. Just to answer your question, hello. Just to answer your question directly. Just to answer your point directly. You're saying why are they still choosing to go to the West, right? That's one of your things. I mean, yes, there are people choosing to go to the West, and I would argue that if we kept on taking them in, that would encourage more. So like a river that carries on going, right? But I'm saying that if you have a model like the Jordan model, which is just literally in 2015 started to get underway, and they're starting to do the Jordan model in other countries, then we can back that, and that hopefully will attract people to those countries. But the point is to try and back things that actually work, and not the mess we're left in Europe.
Do you support the West paying for the transport back to Jordan?
Absolutely, and that's what Merkel's doing. Merkel's paying, she started paying people to leave Germany.
Right.
Okay. New voice. Yes, lady.
Oh, yeah.
Lady there.
So Elena made a point about how back in the day we were letting in a lot more refugees. Like you said, like 500,000
After the
Vietnam. Yeah,
War.
can you expand on that more a little bit? Do you have any more? I thought that was an interesting point.
Yeah, so we, so the study that I saw from 1980 to today showed that there has been a steady decrease in refugees that we've accepted over the years, especially since 9/11. And the refugees are not changing. I mean, at the time after the Vietnamese War, there was still people, there was still tensions there, and even then, people didn't necessarily want to accept refugees. So this problem is not a new one. It is just increased to such a large scale that it's impossible to accommodate.
I can add too, in terms of long-term and short-term benefits. So Vietnamese, I have evidence on this, Vietnamese Americans in the labor force is higher than the national average. So all the Vietnamese people that we let in after the Vietnam War actually in the long term utilize that well, and now they actually participate in the labor force in a much more robust way than most natives. And also, we want to say that our solution and their solution, so their solution actually exists under our paradigm. We're saying, yeah, sure, everyone take more immigrants, but what we're saying is the West also should take in more refugees, so all their arguments actually go to our side. If you agree with them, then you also agree with us, because we're saying that the West should take in more because of this proportionality. Can you fit 6.5 more people more in your 32,000 at what rate? So, okay, well then let's actually talk about how many people we do let in. Most Western countries actually have a very low rate of how much they let in refugees. It's less than 40%, Germany is the highest, and the lowest, 21% in France, and in the United States is somewhere around 25% of total refugees. The United States lets in 600 to 700,000 immigrants every single year for permanent status, and only 15,000 of those are refugees. And let's say that we have this huge immigration problem, or this huge refugee problem. We're not talking about immigration, we're talking about refugees. We have a refugee problem of 63 million. Estimates are between over 40 million and 63 million. So even if the West takes in another 65,000 extra each year, there's still a huge problem. Even if Jordan takes in, even if Saudi Arabia takes in, there still needs to be some solvency for this huge number.
Okay, everyone keep your hands in the air. My name is Liam McManus. I'm the moderator for this evening. We're debating the motion the West should take in more refugees. I'm going to see something in 8 minutes' time. We will have closing statements. That is one frontliner from each team, you guys can decide, and one volunteer frontliner for the motion and against the motion from the audience. So have a think about that. You'll have 2 minutes for a closing statement. 2 uninterrupted minutes. I will call on volunteers in 8 minutes' time. Hands in the air, keep them up, blue voice there.
Yeah, hey, I was just going to say, so I came here kind of on the side of the West should take in more refugees. Not long after hearing these open statements, I kind of maybe fully haven't changed my mind, but I think I considered more. I think the main thing for me is actually what's best for the refugees themselves. I think this is an argument that I've been for it really well. You know, if we do open the doors further in whatever way we do, it's kind of making what seems like a really easy, well, not necessarily easy option, but you know, it can seem to them like a lifesaver, something that's more promised for them than actually is. Whereas in the long term, it just doesn't work out. Whereas what they're saying, what they're offering, I think, is a more realistic option to hopefully a long-term solution for not just the crisis itself, but for the lives of these individual refugees. I think, you know, as they pointed out, the political arguments are highly emotional. It's very easy to go, oh, you know, we should open arms and everything, but are you actually considering what is best for these individual people?
Okay, so we're moving into our final section. Keep your hands in the air. I want us to focus on the alternatives. So the West taking in refugees versus, we've spoken about the Jordan model here, other models, other ideas. What are the alternatives? Play them against each other, and which one is best? At the back, sir?
Remember at school when you had an exam question and the teacher would say, concentrate on answering the question.
Right.
Yeah. So 2 words in that question which are important. Should and more.
And the answer is yes to both.
And you guys are ignoring them. So
the answer is yes.
Should the West take in more refugees?
Yes.
Our responsibility. And more, can we take in more refugees?
Yes.
We've addressed more observation.
Absolutely. We didn't discuss this at all. And I tried to mention it since
On should. The Ottoman Empire collapsed in the early 20th century. The French and British empires filled the vacuum.
Filled the vacuum. That's a
States
euphemism
became
of
our
the
prime
century.
states.
That's a euphemism of the century.
After the British and French empires collapsed, Middle Eastern states became client states of the US. Afterwards, we invaded Iraq.
Thank you.
With much calamity, so it is our responsibility.
Thank
more, can we take in more? Of course we can take in more.
Thank you.
How much space have we got? How much money have we got? How rich are we? How rich do you want to be?
A lot.
Guys.
Yes.
I have a ridiculously crazy idea. So, today, the West, I think my German friend always get furious because only the Western European countries suffer the most. Could we do it technically? We only receive refugees, only receive women and children under 10 years old. When the children become 18 or 19, send them back to their homeland.
Get those 19
and we only accept the gay men. Because gay men will not rape European women.
Yes, absolutely right.
When you are straight, you speak Arabic, you believe in Islamic, screw you up! Only be a fireman or only be an army, screw you up! Go to hell!
Okay, so that was one alternative. You answered my question, gave me an alternative. Who has another alternative before you hand up?
I think what we should all consider in general is that what refugees want for themselves, and I think it has been said one time, they actually don't, most of the time they don't want to stay in a country. They actually want to go home and want to go back to their home country, which is why the Jordan model makes sense. But still, I think in the certain situation, the model of just letting people into our countries is, at the moment, the best solution. We don't have a better solution at the moment, but I think what should happen is that all Western countries together should let more refugees in, and not like only a few countries like Germany and even France is taking more refugees than most other countries. In France, what did they took like 20,000, like, and they were like, no, not anymore. And the problem is when all Western countries would like sit together and get their shit sorted out and would like take the refugees, they could make them out for like by economical standards and diverse them to the country.
I want to say something. Well, I think you bring a very good point, because we are always considering right now the refugees, what the refugees think. But what about the receiving countries, right? We never discussed this. Can the US take maybe more refugees? I would agree, right? It can be compensated easily, and we already decided there is no economic difference. It doesn't matter actually, right? The point is the culture and how much these people really incorporate into existing culture in the receiving country. And when you are in some citizens in Germany, you have 25% Syrian people. This will affect the socialization of the society, the country, this specific city. Can this city receive more refugees? No! Especially if maybe 80% of these refugees are not real refugees.
One more, no? One more? No?
New voice, yeah?
Well, if they like the country so much, then they wouldn't be refugees. They're leaving because of the war. I mean, if they want to stay, they will stay. If they want to go to Jordan, they'll go to Jordan. But they are refugees because of extreme situation. So therefore, they wouldn't be a refugee if they want to stay.
I have Portugal offered a couple of thousand refugees in Greece to go over to Portugal, and just a couple of hundred took the offer because the others all said, we don't want to go there, we want to go to Germany, Sweden, Austria, because we get higher social welfare there. Don't tell me the most important thing for those people is seeking shelter. It's not right. Yeah.
Okay. We've had a lull, so I think that's a nice place to close our audience participation phase. Okay. Taking volunteers, firstly arguing for the motion the West should take in more refugees. Hands up. Who wants to argue for? I've seen your hand, sir. You're booked in. This two chaps, stand up first. And arguing against the motion, the West should take in more refugees. Seen your hand, sir. Okay, booked. Frontliners arguing for the motion. Who's going to be 2 minutes uninterrupted? A little think. Arguing against the motion. Who's going to step up? Alan. Have a little think. We'll have the first frontliner arguing for the motion. The West should take in more refugees. It is. You, sir, what's your name?
Just say Nino, it's easier.
Nino! It's easier. Come on, Nino. Okay, Nino, you have 2 minutes of uninterrupted argument presentation time. The chance for us all to take a breather. Uninterrupted.
Thank you very much. Well, my main reason to speak out for the Western countries to take more refugees is I think they can just take more refugees. It's just a measurement of capability and having the capacity to take more refugees. So I say yes, Western countries can take more refugees. I was a little bit undecided because in certain points I understood what the side against the motion was saying. We have certain problems with refugees, we have certain problems mostly in the structure how refugees are handled. I think if the Western countries would sit together and handle the matter of refugees better as a community, and if they would like more or less speak, that they would see the refugees would more split up. For example, I'm from Germany. Germany took a lot of refugees over the crisis, around 2 million, over around the area of 5 years. Wherever a country like Poland, which is our neighboring country, only took around 2,000 refugees. So the question is, why? I mean, Poland is economically not as strong as Germany, but I think they still could have taken more refugees. So I think if the countries sit together and if we handle the problem from its core, and if we just see refugees as what they are, refugees from a war crisis, refugees from a hunger crisis, then we can solve this problem if we stop pitying ourselves about migrants which are not refugees. So, thank you.
And next up, arguing against the motion, the West should take in more refugees, is Barry.
Hi everybody. The West should not take in more refugees because that money that is spent on refugees in the West could be spent outside the West and help many, many more refugees. I don't know if the gentleman who said that 7 refugees could be helped for one outside the West for 1 refugee in the West is right, but you know, it's going to be somewhere between 2 and 100. I don't know where it actually is. You can help more people for the same amount of money. More people. Also, as other people have said, the difficulties of integration will be less. More importantly, in the long run, it is best to keep refugees out of the West for long-term funding, for long-term fundraising. Sweden reached its carrying capacity. If you take in 3% of the Swedish population in under 5 years in refugees, Sweden goes, nope, no more. Now, if you take the money that was spent on 3% of Sweden's population and you spend it in Turkey, in Jordan, in refugee camps, in the Ogaden, in Ethiopia, on Somali refugees, many, many more people can be helped. And you don't have horrible, horrible effects on Western countries' domestic politics. You do not have Le Pen's ever-rising support. You do not have the Swedish People's Party's ever-rising support. You do not have the Swiss People's Party's ever-rising support. The more, Maggie or possibly Elena talked about how many more refugees were taken in the 70s per head of population than is now the case. Some of that is experience. Some of that is people going, you know what? We've taken in a lot of refugees. We don't want any more. The more that the people know about, the more that the people know about refugees and how they integrate, the less they want to do it. If we want to help the maximum number of suffering people, we should do it in other poorer countries where we can help more.
Right!
Okay, thank you, Barry. And last up, arguing for the motion, the West should take in more refugees. We have 2 minutes of uninterrupted argument time. We have Maggie, round of applause.
Alright, I'll begin by responding to their closing statement, which is that throwing money at a problem definitely solves it. We know over and over through experience, through empirical evidence, that throwing money at a problem absolutely does not work. This side has admitted that the problem's complex. This side, every person in here admits that the problem's complex. If you could solve it with a simple cash transaction, then we would have already fucking done it. So that's absolutely bullshit. The next thing that I want to talk about too is just this idea of should. Okay, what does it mean? Should. Should means it is recommended that. And should also means that it's an obligation to do that thing. 1, it is recommended that. We have already explained several times that refugees have a net benefit. They not only have a long, and we can see, yes, they have a short-term draw, they have a short-term loss in the economy, but you know what? They have a long-term benefit. We've proven that with examples from Vietnamese immigrants in the United States, and I have also cited sources from Germany that are reported by The Economist. Now, why should they? We have addressed this several times. Why should they? Why is it an obligation? It's an obligation because, as we've already discussed, the West has had a huge role in, has played a huge role in creating all these conflicts. Not to mention, it should, if you have any fucking concept of decency in your entire life, to let in people who are struggling with children, letting in women and children to your country. Next thing, okay, so more on this is why should we let in more refugees? I've already explained that the West, proportionally speaking, only lets in tens of thousands a year, and there are 65 million, and there are tons. It's only 20%. The average of a Western country accepting refugees is only 20%. That is not enough. Now, Germans in this room can relax. We're not saying Germany has to take in more. We're saying every single country in the West has to take more. Yes, the United States has to take more. We agree with that. Now, the last thing is they want to live in a world of denial. They want to live in a world where we deny that neocolonialism ever happened. We deny the humanity of people who are suffering all around the world, and we deny the fact that it is obvious the West can and should accept more refugees. We accept some of their paradigm. Yes, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, they can too. But they have not uniquely proven why the West should take in more refugees like we have. We don't want to live in a world of denial. We want to live in a world where every human being is recognized.
And finally,
taking the weakest link here to close it.
arguing against the motion, the West should take in more refugees, Alan Eyre. Round of applause.
Because he's been amazing and he's had very some good points there. We have the weakest link here arguing against that. I mean, should we? No, we shouldn't. Are we obliged to? No, we are not obliged to. And one thing that we're missing out here is Russia. Russia right now is in Syria fighting and being prosecuted from the West. And if Russia falls and if Syria falls, it's going to flood the gates open with Christians and all these sorts of people coming right into the gates. So, financially, it's not financially. What? Take them on. Take you on. Okay, let's talk about civilization, the Western society. Do we want to have people who have ulterior motives, who want to come here and board, carbon, drive fucking trucks with people at Christmas? You want to go to a fucking Christmas party and have a fucking truck driven straight at you? I don't. Absolutely fucking not. We don't want that in this place, in our society. We don't want any aggravation or lovely people, Christians. That is it, man. Do we want to have the anger and the bitterness? I mean, we're all lovely people. You're lovely people. We're all being classified as educated people. We don't want to have
your compatriots' argument. No interruption. Shush. No interruption.
Terrorism has been left out. The destruction to society and integration has been left out. And these are major points that haven't been touched on. Is that 30 seconds to go? 30 seconds. Okay, let's have a 30-second fucking silence while we look down fucking dead, yeah?
Thank you, Alan. Okay. And that concludes our big debate on the motion that West should take in more refugees. I think next time I'll choose a more interesting topic. No one really cares about it. There's no passion in the room. Okay. So now we have the second vote. So everyone take out your phones. For, against, undecided. We will first look at the results of the first vote. Georgia, the first vote results are for the motion 34%, against the motion 33%, undecided 33%. Remember, the biggest change in votes. Really close. We never had a debate like this. Really close. The biggest change in votes declares our winner. Where are our frontliners? Frontliners, come and sit down, man. Come on. Attention, it's not nothing much later. Frontliners.
Thank you.
Frontliners, come on.
I think Undecided's going to win.
Where's our final frontliner? We've got a three. Yes,
Undecided. Biggest
before we announce the final result, the final vote, let's give all our frontliners a massive round of applause for putting themselves out there. Really passionate debates, a very passionate debate, and give yourselves a round of applause for putting yourselves out there. And let's have a look at the result of the final vote. Josia, please. Against the motion with this big debate. Thanks to all our frontliners, thanks to you guys for coming. See you next week debate. Good night.